Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us.
Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get 3, Pyro, get 3 with the...
Wade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, Overwatch fans. Welcome to the first regular season match of Overwatch Tranquility Season 7. Today, we are thrilled to bring you coverage of the Week 1 Harmony Tier feature match, where last season's champions, the Koala Kings, will face off against a new team with some longtime veterans, the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. My name is HBL64, and I will be your play-by-play caster today, and I'm joined by the wonderful Captain Jack on the Colorcast. And Jack, what a way to kick off the season.
That's absolutely true, Bowsy. I gotta say, I was really excited watching how Koala Kings kind of made their way up to the finals once again. Got taken out by flashbacks there at the end, but, as we've been talking about for the last couple of days now, Koala Kings coming in with a new roster despite being the champions of the Harmony tier last season. Got a couple familiar faces on there. You still got your Navino, still got your Spongy Cheese, but you got some new faces on there. Jeff Bot moving down from the redacted marsupial team to join them in the Harmony tier this time around from Discord. And then you've got a lot of new familiar new faces that are going to become familiar as they continue to grow. But on the other side of the field, we got the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, and I gotta tell you, with a name like that automatically brings a smile to my face. And I'm so excited to see what they're gonna bring. We didn't get to see them in the preseason, unfortunately. Whether it was not having the time or not being able to get locked in soon enough, whatever the case, we're gonna be able to see them here tonight and see what kind of skill they're bringing to the table.
Absolutely, it's going to be an absolute banger of a match coming into today. Of course, you mentioned the Koala Kings, second place in the preseason, the champions of Season 6. Only two remaining players, Spongy Cheese on that DPS and Navino. Former runner-up for Off-Tank is going to be switching over to DPS this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how this new roster is going to be able to come together as the season goes, and if they're going to be championship caliber once again in Overwatch Tranquility. Of course, Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, the new kids on the block. They do have some veterans. For example, Night Knight, their coach, was the coach of Gannicus, which was a team that ended up being like a sort of middle of the road to eventually looking like a championship caliber team toward the end of Season 6. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to bring to the table and how he's going to impact this team of the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. Probably the best name in the Harmony tier this season.
And honestly, one of the things that we really got to start thinking about is the fact that, we've extended the season this time around. Instead of the original 13 weeks, including the playoffs, we're now up to 16 weeks of Overwatch action. That means 3 more matches per team making their way to the finals. So that means more room to kind of mess around with things, kind of figure things out. And of course, as we all know, stage 1 is all about kind of figuring yourself out, figuring out your opponents. Remember, you're only set with a group of 5 other teams, as we have each tier divided into 4 separate groups. So you're going to get to know those teams fairly well. But the question is, are you facing the head of the pack, or are you taking down the bottom of the dumpster?
Absolutely. It's going to be a decider on if you're going to be taking on the best or the worst in the entire tier. But regardless of all of that, we're hoping to get started here soon. Our first map, of course, every single week we start off with a different control map. This week it's going to be Busan that is our starting map. Obviously, it's going to be an interesting map because it allows for a lot of different strategy. There's really no one set comp that works on each map of Busan. You can run Brawl, you can run Dive, you can run Spam. Whatever it is, it can work on Busan if executed correctly.
And that's the great thing about Busan, as is with many control maps, is that it provides all that kind of variety in composition. It really allows teams to kind of get their feet wet, especially when they're facing off against one another for the first time, trying to figure out kind of what strategies work, which ones don't, and maybe even experiment with some that they've been trying out and seeing if they can take it all the way this time around. So needless to say, we do, while we're waiting for the teams to go ahead and get started, we do want to let you all know that we are still raising funds for RAIN, amazing organization that we're doing in coordination with our support efforts of the Activision Blizzard employees that are facing the incredible turmoil there right now. So please, if you can, hit that exclamation donate in the chat to let us know that we have your support, that they have your support, so that we can do what we can as an organization to help those in need.
Absolutely, RAIN, an amazing cause, and again, just like 2 weeks ago, I'm very glad Overwatch Tranquility has decided to do this, as we're going to get started here on Busan very shortly. The first map choice of Busan, of course, there's 3 points on the map, is going to be Busan Mecca Base, the closed-in, much more close-range sort of map of the 3 in Busan.
It's absolutely true, Bowsy. And looking at the team structure getting ready to come out here, obviously they're going to have the ability to change things up, but it looks like we're going with the standard for the side of the fire-breathing rubber duckies. Popping that Symmetra to start things off, get that little bit of extra distance coming out of the spawn. Wacky opt in for the peacekeeping wielder. Looking to pop some heads right there. Going to be facing off against Spongy Cheese. But Navino opting for the Reaper on the side of the Koala Kings. That's going to provide a lot of additional damage. And honestly, I'll be surprised if Silk doesn't decide to come out with a Reaper or May of their own. But it looks like they're going to stick with the Symmetra to pull this.
Yep, you do see Koala King trying to push forward, but Silk is able to take out the main take of Jetbot. A little too overextended there from Jetbot, as now Firebreathing Rubber Duckies trying to make their way in, and that's another pick from Silk, that time with the turret onto Navino. And just like that, the Firebreathing Rubber Duckies starting to take advantage of the Koala Kings in this fight. They look like they'll be able to take the first fight win and be able to take the first cap here on Busan Mecca Base. Jetbot and Kemi do get staggered out and are coming into the fight a little bit late, but no pressure is there from Firebreathing Rubber Duckies. They'll be able to escape with their lives.
Yeah, thankfully they are able to get out of there. I was waiting for the stagger to come out there onto Jetbot and Kemi. They fell incredibly low there, but were able to get around the corner. Now it's going to be trying to get around Silk. They've got that barrier coming online, and Ore has the Ant Matrix that they're deploying right now to slam some damage in.
And already one pick taken out from the Ant Matrix for Koala Kings. They were able to get Silk with the Fire Strike, but Navino on the Doomfist dies to the hands of Arya. Oh, the Shatter gets stunned out from Spongy Cheese on the McCree. What a huge play for Spongy Cheese. And now that is the cue for the Koala Kings to push in. They're starting to take the point. The Shatter counting both supports on the ground from the Firebreathing Rubber Duckies. And the beat invested late here for the Koala Kings. It's not going to matter because Koala Kings will be taking the point, and Firebreathing Rubber Duckies are going back to the drawing board.
That's absolutely true, and looking at the way that they were able to kind of coordinate that, right? Pulling back to go ahead and allow the Ant Matrix to burn out, allow them to aggress that much faster back into the fight. They didn't lose anybody, and there was nothing lost, nothing gained. Now they have control of this high ground area as we see Navino swapping over to the Doomfist. Go ahead and provide a little additional damage here in the back line, but ends up getting picked off early.
You do see Jetbot getting the kill on a bomb clad. It's a double bomb. Both supports taken out by Kemi. Kemi did an amazing job last time in the preseason match with those bombs, and once again he is showing up with them. Firebreathing Rubber Duckies back to the drawing board after a very investment-heavy fight there for the Koala Kings.
Ooh, that was absolutely beautiful right there. Even with the initial pick onto Navino, Jetbot was able to get the pick onto Bomboclat to start things off as well, and trade that Diva Bomb in for them to lock down the objective. As the percentage continues to climb, though, Silk does find Navino to start things off.
And there's a giant shatter coming out from Jetbot. It gets 4 on the ground. Even though they lost Navino, it looks like the Koala Kings will be able to win this fight overall. Jetbot does fall, however, the drug. There is still an opportunity here for the Firebreathing Duckies, but not with Buio falling on that Lucio. And just like that, the Rubber Duckies are retreating, and the Koala Kings stand firm.
Absolutely. Looking now at the percentages, we're getting ready to head into what could be final fight for the fire-breathing rubber duckies. They do have some ultimates online. That Deadeye can be incredibly useful, but it's self-destruct going back.
And Jeffbot charging Bomboclat straight into the range of the bomb and ends up getting that. Bomboclat ends up falling, and Koala Kings taking advantage of this fight. They use the beat to try and engage heavily onto fire-breathing rubber duckies. Nobody is there to touch, and just like that, Koala Kings, after a slow and sloppy start, they take Mecca base.
Indeed, and just looking at the absolute aggression coming out from Jeffbot here, you're seeing the punishment of the mistakes constantly. Bomboclat is having to choose between whether to shield them from the self-destruct or to counter-tackle Jeffbot, and neither are the right answer here, right? There's really nothing that they can do to try to compete with that. Now as we move into downtown, it looks like both teams are going to be opting into the Winston Diva dive, but we're going to be seeing a little bit of hacking coming out from Navino as they pick the Sombra over Silk, who's coming in on the Echo.
It's a shadow dive versus a normal dive with some peeking backlines. You see on a break on the side of fire-breathing rubber duckies, and already the hack goes in for onto Bomboclat. Navino able to get that hack off early. Right now, it's just a building up game here for Koala Kings. They're trying to get into a 6-man dive position to try and engage. Jeffbot taking a little bit of poke there, trying to get as much damage as he can, and the hack goes on to Wacky. Wacky ends up falling on the McCree. What a huge dive there from Jeffbot, as now Koala Kings starting to push forward. Drug loses his mech once again to Jeffbot. Just a lot of work being done here by all of the Koala Kings, and an Ant Matrix comes out late from Gag. Questionable Ant Matrix, but regardless, it does seal Koala Kings' fight, and they'll be taking the point here on Busan City Center.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Arya got a massive anti-nade in on that Ana, but with the speed that is coming in with Red Knight on that Lucio, it's making it very difficult for them to kind of chase down and clean those things up. So it's really going to be up to them. We do see Be Well on that Brigitte popping out the rally, but dang, Kemi already starting the fight with a bomb.
And Jeffbot is actually in the back line. He ends up getting high noon by Wacky, who is actually using the high noon to try and get rid of him. And now, it looks like it's even here for fire-breathing rubber duckies and Koala Kings, but not until Arya dies. Spongy Cheese does die to Wacky as well, however, so now it's pretty much still an even fight here. However, one support on the side of fire-breathing rubber duckies being that Brigitte, and Red Knight now dies to Wacky. This is looking winnable here for fire-breathing rubber duckies. Jeffbot comes back in, and that's a 5-man EMP coming up from Navino. It gets almost everybody on the side of fire-breathing rubber duckies, but there's literally no follow-up. The only kill going on to Be Well on that Brigitte, and that's a 2K bomb from Drug. It gets Gag and Jeffbot. That might be the win here for fire-breathing rubber duckies. They will be able to take this point in the end of it all. Drug getting the final eliminations, and just like that, there's the flip for fire-breathing rubber duckies.
Yeah, that's incredibly unfortunate right there. They did a great job with that EMP coming out from Navino, but they didn't have the point presence to be able to follow up on it. You were seeing that they were just kind of hoping that they would pull back and allow them to take the objective or continue to hold it in their favor, but you know, only a couple seconds later, it's gonna flip back into their favor. And with Wacky already finding Navino out, that's not a good way to start things off.
Absolutely not, and now 2 ults coming out on the side of the fire-breathing rubber duckies. They're able to get Gag on that Moira, so now that's another big pick there for the fire-breathing rubber duckies, and now it looks like they're going to handily win this fight now with Wacky and Silk, and also Bleo getting all those final kills. However, a lot of ults exchanged there in that fight. That was 3 ults they used, the duplicate, the high noon, and the rally. Koala Kings are looking at it a good sign.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of kind of negotiating the aggression that is coming out from the Koala Kings. They're allowing them to get aggressive, to get in their face, and kind of pulling back a little bit so that all their cooldowns are used down so they can then jump into the fight. They don't have speed on their side, so they have to use maneuverability, but ooh, with Arya out of position, not a good way to start.
Absolutely not, but Kavai Rubber Duckies are able to rebound. 3 kills on their side. Bomboclat does die to Kemi's self-destruct, but that's all she wrote. Drug does do the self-destruct into the enemies, into the point to try and lock it down. But just like that, Fire Rubber Duckies hold on to this point. and Kemi is going to get staggered out here on this baby diva before he's able to remake. That is not a good sign.
Yeah, unfortunately, Drug probably going to be wanting that bomb back, but I think was just using the bomb to make sure that they have their mech for this final fight. Now, as we head into it, Koala King's going to have to really lock down those ultimates coming in, the duplicate and the Deadeye going to zone.
Absolutely, and there's a big pick already. Gag dies to the Deadeye of Wacky, but at the 3-man EMP, and the Blossom is there for Spongy Cheese. It doesn't get anybody, but it does enough damage to be able to secure the point. Drug and Arya are the only two remaining people there on the point, and just like that, after a really hard defense, it looks like the Koala Kings are going to be taking back the point, 64% to 99 on the side of Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies.
Yeah, I was honestly a little bit surprised that we didn't see more ultimates come out from the Rubber Duckies. They had them online, ready and raring to go, and it would have been their fight to utilize them and win. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot on the side of the Koala Kings to be able to kind of contest a duplicate, double Winston juggling people left, right, and center is a good way to get things going, and it looks like that's how they're going to start.
Double Winston on the field, and Red Knight dies first to Drug. The Double Winston's able to dive with Moira, but Gag able to get away as there comes one Primal Rage, the other one not yet being used, as Spongy Cheese now dies to the hands of Drug. The bomb on the point from Kemi, only able to get Wacky, and the remake does not get anybody. Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies looking really good in this fight, up 4-1 now. Gag and Jeffbot die. Silk ends up dying in the end aftermath. Kemi is the last remaining person on the point, and the bomb from Drug is going to keep him off. Drug just gets the remake, however. Red Knight is back, but he dies immediately. Sent back to spawn with him. And just like that, the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies trying to bring this back after having the point for a long time. It looks like they're going to be able to recap it. Jetbot coming under the ball, trying to stall. That's a 4-man EMP. Any follow-up coming in for the Koala Kings? No. There's no one there to follow it up. And the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies take Busan City Center.
Yeah, once again, the timings of those EMPs are not working out for Navino right there. They're using them more in desperation than they're using them in planned aggressive techniques. Like, they have the speed to be able to close the distance and utilize that EMP a lot more to their aggressive playstyle, but they're holding on to them so long that they end up using them out of desperation and not having the players on the point able to follow up on that EMP and get the picks that are needed. So as we go ahead and head into the shrine now, it's going to be interesting to see how they decide to change things up. Looks like we're going to see a little Tracer soldier action coming out for the side of the Koala Kings as they opt for the Ball Sigma.
Yep, the Ball Sigma coming out from Koala Kings. On the side of Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, they want a full brawl. They're going with the Rhine Diva, and Navino is right behind them with Spongy Cheese on that Tracer. But Jeffbot goes very low and ends up falling at the hands of B-Wheel. What a great play there, but at the same time, the Sombra on the side of Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies is down. Now you do have the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies trying to come onto this point. Red Knight is there on the Brigida, trying to call out for the rest of his teammates to try and get in. That's why you hear the phone ringing in the background. Now you see Red Knight on this point, trying to capitalize it. Jeffbot comes in with the pile drive, and now Bombaclad is dead. Just like that, Koala Kings might have been able to turn this fight around from a first pick loss, and now you do see them trying to focus one target altogether. Red Knight, however, does die to Wacky, but Wacky dies at the hands of Navino, and it looks like through all the mayhem and all the madness, Koala Kings might be able to stabilize and bring this back unless Jeffbot dies. He barely survived. Just a little bit of health left in the tank. And just like that, the Koala Kings are going to cap the point first.
Yeah, that was an absolutely back and forth fight, and that's the great thing about being on that Wrecking Ball. Even with the nerf that recently came in, causing the cooldown to start and spawn, Wrecking Ball is still one of the fastest players to get back into the game, so Jeffbot going down first actually wasn't a huge issue in the long scheme of things. Plus, you've got Gag on that Zenyatta just popping off Discords left, right, and center that's providing that additional damage. But you see Wacky and Silk, they're coming up on that Deadeye EMP, and if they time it just right, they might be able to just go ahead and clean this sucker up.
Pulse Bomb comes out, it doesn't get a stick, but Arya does die in the end. Wacky also was able to get the pick on the Spongy Cheese, so it's even here. Only one support, though, for the side of Fire Rubber Duckies. They are willing to commit into this. Bombaclad is on the point. Here comes Jeffbot from the backline, trying to get B-Wheel, and just like that, the entirety of the Fire Rubber Duckies look right onto him and eliminate Jeffbot then and there. Navino falls in the hands of Bombaclad, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies with the advantage. They might be able to take this point. The Transcendence comes out from Gag as the Ant Matrix comes out from Arya. What a huge play there. They're able to trade support ultimates, but Kemi dies at the hands of Arya. However, he was able to get out Bombaclat on that Winston. Now it's looking still even here. Koala Kings with the sustainability, being able to hold this point as long as they can as Jeffbot drops the mines in the middle of the enemy team. As here comes the bomb coming out from Drug. Will be able to get Big Pick. It does get Gag. Gag gets shot right in front of the bomb. And just like that, you might see the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies being able to take this fight for themselves. Jeffbot gets hacked, and now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are going to cap the point. 84% for the Koala Kings. They only need one clean team fight to win it.
Oh, Gag. Gag trying, I don't know if it was just a oh well kick, but trying to see them kick the bomb away from them was just so hilarious. Goodness gracious.
He's trying to
Nevertheless, though, I know, right? They were like, oh, it's volleyball, right? I can just kick it back to you. Needless to say, they were able to get a great percentage on the board. You know, it took Rubber Duckies a long time to take that point. They're essentially in final fight territory if they lose this with the Gravitic Flux Trap 3.
Yes, it does. Already able to get the Immortality Field in that area line of sight. However, nobody dead yet on the side of Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, and they are the ones to get the first 2 picks. Navino and Jeffbot had died at the hands of Silk and Arya, and now Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies with an advantage. Red Knight is only on this point alone with the Brigida, but Kemi and Gag are right there to support them. And now with Wacky getting the pick on the Spongy Cheese and the Primal coming out from Bombaclad, that is all but the curtains closed here for Koala King. Kemi able to get hacked and now is getting pressured out by the rest of the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies as they keep control at this point. 57% for them.
Yeah, that was definitely definitely some rough positioning there for the side of Red Knight. They were getting a little too aggressive when the picks started coming in with their team, and they ended up just getting juggled by Bombaclat into the back line of the Rubber Duckies so that they could handle them personally. This rally coming out from B-Wheel to start things off, though, is going to go ahead and tie up that percentage, and we're truly heading into final fight territory.
Spongy Cheese got hacked by Silk and is now back in the spawn of the Koala Kings. The Koala Kings are down one member, 86% here for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. They pretty much need to win this last fight, and they might be taking the first map here in the series. Navino is now hacked, but he has the Attack Visor online. He might be able to use it here as Bombaclat immediately jumps on the Red Knight, but dies to Gag. Huge support there and peel from the Koala Kings as the Transcendence comes out. Jeffbot ends up dying to Arya, but it might not be enough. The Immortality Field comes out from Arya as the Flux comes down. No kills resulted off the Flux, but a lot of damage, and Arya uses a late amplification matrix. Will it be enough to be able to hold? No, it won't. Wacky and Drug die on the point, and all that's left is one Sombra Silk invisible right now. 95% here for the Koala Kings, and they're holding back Bombaclat. The 4-man EMP coming out from Silk, but there's nobody there to act upon it. No follow-up, nothing there, and the Koala Kings bring it back. They're gonna win on Busan.
Wow, what an amazing way to start off the evening. A 3-round 2CP ending in a 99-99. We're already going to see how close these teams are going to take it in the first night of the regular season play of the game. Going to Drug with this kill on the self-destruct. Absolutely beautiful. Gave them exactly what they needed to clear the objective and be able to lock that down for downtown. But nevertheless, was not something that ended up working out in their favor all the way through. The staggers just at the end of Sanctuary was just too much for them to handle, but the Rubber Duckies do get to choose their next map. And I've been noticing in the chat, we're having issues with game sound and Discord. I don't know if you noticed. This is a little different than my normal setup. We actually just recently bought a house, and this is my new office space, so it's kind of echoey. Apologize for that, but hopefully y'all are at very least enjoying the action that we're seeing brought by these two teams.
Absolutely. The action is what matters here, and action is what we're getting. Suspense is what we're getting. Really good team strategy is what we're getting, albeit a little bit sloppy, but this is Harmony tier. This is the lowest tier that we have here in Overwatch Tranquility, and really, it shows that people can be in team orchestrated settings, and it doesn't always have to be clean. If everything is clean 100% and you go on, you're going to be champions. But regardless, a great showing here from Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, a team that many people really didn't think would have a good chance in this. Some people predicted that Koala Kings would be able to sweep the Rubber Duckies today, but regardless, they are able to show that they do have a staying power, and they might be able to take a map unsuspectedly against the Koala Kings, and maybe even the win if they're able to keep it this close.
Yeah, needless to say, I am always one to vote for the underdogs. So with Rubber Duckies coming in, I feel like they're going to quack up the competition. Oh, yeah, it's a way to get the season started. But nevertheless, just watching the play styles that we have seen thus far is incredibly exciting. I know that you were talking a little bit about how Harmony tends to be a little messy, down in the gold and platinum range that our Harmony tier set in, but I gotta say, I was seeing a lot of exciting play. B Wheel on that Brigida just constantly, every time, whether the Wrecking Ball, the Tracer, whoever was coming in the back line, ready to stun, protect anyone that they needed to with that shield bash. So being able to see that kind of skill at what we would consider a low range of play, I mean, don't count any of these folks out. SR is just a number at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and now we are heading into the next map, which is our assault map. It is the loser's choice, so Firebreathe Rubber Duckies have chosen Hanamura, and they've also made some swaps on the field. Requiem is coming in for Drug, Clover is coming in for Arya, and on the side of Koala Kings, Sergeant Pepper is coming in for Spongy Cheese. Many people who saw many people who saw the semifinals for the preseason remember Sergeant Pepper for an insane Pharah and an absolutely dominant Sombra. So I am willing to believe Koala Kings are willing to bust out the Pharah here to try and make this match more interesting.
And that's one thing that they really need to think about, right? If we're thinking about the rules of tranquility, one thing that we like to do in the Harmony and Discord tier, this was a recent rule we changed for the Transcendence tier, is that each player on the team has to participate in at least 2 maps. So seeing Sergeant Pepper come in so early is either strategic or it might be a little bit of BM, not exactly for certain what we're going to see just yet. It wasn't an incredibly close match. But if they decide to keep Sergeant Pepper in for these next 2 matches, when we see them here on Hanamura and then going into our hybrid map after the first half, it could really leave them down for having such a powerhouse player out of the final fights if they don't make this a 3-0 victory tonight.
Absolutely, and what I'm really interested to see is Firebreather and Rubber Duckies are going to be without their captain in this game. Drug is listed as the captain of Firebreathing Rubber Duckies right now. So, either they have somebody else to take that captain role temporarily, or this team is not going to do as well. But regardless, heading into Hanamura soon, it's going to be interesting to see what Firebreathing Rubber Duckies come out with these 2 swaps out on the field. And we're going to see what Koala Kings decide to do with Sergeant Pepper on that DPS role instead. Again, no other changes on the field. The only 2 changes being Requiem, Clover on the side of Firebreathing Rubber Duckies coming in for Drug and Arya respectively, and Sergeant Pepper coming in for Spongy Cheese on the side of Koala Kings.
Yeah, as we go ahead and head into Hanamura, as we said, Sergeant Pepper coming in with that somber play that we saw during the preseason, and Requiem and Clover maybe looking at a different set of skills, so to speak. We did see a couple of different compositions from them during their time on during the team's time on Busan. They ran the brawl, they ran a little bit of the dive that seemed to work out for them, but maybe we're looking at some hero specialists getting ready to come in. Requiem maybe has a little bit more of an aggressive diva or more of a protective flanky diva. Clover opting, it looks like, for the Lucio to go ahead and get things started off, as the Rubber Duckies will be taking the attack to get started. It looks like they're opting for that rush composition, but we'll see if anything changes up here at the end. Sergeant Pepper opting for the May and Navino on that Symmetra. So we're looking for a lot of CC. It's going to be up to Jeffbot and Kemi to provide a lot of damage into the team to be able to take the Rubber Duckies back to the tub.
Absolutely. We saw this in the preseason as well. What Navino's going to do is they're going to place a teleporter right by the corner. If the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are running a teleporter strat of their own, they're going to TP straight back and battle them on the point. This happened exactly in the preseason. This is how the Koala Kings were able to bring it to 4 rounds onto Hanamura. And here they come in with that TP strat. They're on the point, and Bombaclat immediately dead at the hands of Kemi. But Silk able to eliminate Jetbot. Now it's a 4v5 situation in favor of the Koala Kings as Wacky also falls, and Requiem getting beamed down by Navino, able to try and get a lot of pressure onto Gag and Sergeant Pepper, but all for naught. Navino able to get 2 kills onto Silk and Clover, and now it looks like it's all one here for Koala Kings. They will be able to hold on here, and a stagger coming out to Requiem only for a little bit as Kemi gets the final blow.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate right there. I mean, you can tell that Rubber Duckies, either they watched the preseason match and forgot about it, or they didn't watch the preseason match. Always do a little studying up on your teams, folks, especially when there are VODs available, because this strategy is very, very unique from a lot of teams that we've seen so far in the Harmony tier. And now we're looking at the Rubber Duckies to take this high ground area instead and see if they can egress onto the point from the high ground with this Ant Matrix.
The Ant Matrix there, but also with the wall from Sergeant Pepper, and Jetbot is able to get the opening kill here onto Wacky, and there goes the Immortality Field from B-Wheel. Now there is little to no support here for the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. As Clover stuck on the other side, but Navino able to get killed here by Bombaclat as the bomb comes out for Kemi and gets absolutely nothing except separation there for the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, and just like that, they're starting to go down. Clover ends up taking a shatter fall from 50 feet, and just like that, the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are retreating, but some picks did not go through there, so now it looks like they'll be able to get a quick engage here.
Yeah, it was a very interesting, messy fight, and it's really coming down to the wall placements of Sergeant Pepper. They seem to be doing a really good job of zoning out, especially Bombaclat from the rest of the team, and it's working out incredibly well in their favor with that blizzard already online and 2 minutes already off the clock. It looks like it's going to attempt to be rinse and repeat as Wacky pops the Deadeye with no return.
Clover also invests that beat really early as the bomb comes out from Requiem, and it gets 3! Assisted with the shatter with Bombaclat. And now it looks like there's going to be a chance here for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies to win this. They do lose one of their healers, however, to Navino, but regardless, they have the advantage in this fight. Navino is the last man standing, and just like that, with a huge bomb from Requiem, the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are going to take point A with 1 minute remaining in the clock.
Goodness gracious, Requiem, you playing my song, girl! Woo! Just absolutely amazing play. I would say that it's an overinvestment, but when you've already had so much of a hard time trying to get into the objective, that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. And so seeing that investment, a great placement and aggression coming out from the Rubber Duckies, and now they're going for the left flank. Clover, Sag.
Yep, Clover got knocked out of the TP, and now Wacky's getting knocked off the edge by Red Knight. Now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies immediately retreating after a bad mistake coming out from Clover. Not the end of the world, however. They still got 3 minutes and 30 seconds to try and get as much progress onto point 2 as possible. And no ults were expended.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about fights like that, is that when you're looking to set up perfectly, and just one thing goes wrong, it really just sends everything into a tizzy. Did give a little bit of extra ult percentage, though, to the Koala Kings. They got the barrier online, and Kemi just got that bomb ready and raring to go. It looks like they're going to teleport to the high ground to take Jetbot out of the... No! Jetbot! What?
Jetbot shatters on top of the pagoda and gets a massive shatter with a huge cleanup. The bomb comes in from Kemi, does get 1 kill, but regardless, Koala Kings have won this fight. And now Requiem stuck inside of a team of the Koala Kings. She gets the remech off, though, not able to get any kills, but get out of the mech again. This is a brutal, brutal stagger coming out from the Koala Kings. And now the time bank has been shaved to pretty much only 2 minutes here for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, and they don't even have a tick.
Yeah, this is incredibly unfortunate right there. That just cut their time completely in half. But we do see Ultimates getting ready to come online.
Oh! The shatter comes out from Bombaclat, gets 4, but no follow-up coming out from the fire-breathing rubber duckies. And just like that, now it looks like with 2 down, they might have to retrieve this fight. Unless not, Wacky and Silk are starting to carry the fight. The bomb comes out from Requiem. It doesn't get anything, but does push the enemy team away. Kemi is still in the back line. He gets D-Mexed. Now he's in Baby Diva form, trying to chase down the rest of the team to get another mech up. Requiem going to follow her team, and now it looks like the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies are establishing foot on this point. But Koala Kings right there waiting for them at the spawn doors.
Yeah, they're ready and raring to go right now as they go ahead and move into the objective. But already with the first pick coming in, Navino falling both Silk and Bombaclat. It's going to be enough for them to take this back. Maybe a little bit of an overinvestment here with the barrier and the blizzard. But at the end of the day, they're going to continue to hold this. Not a tick to be had by the side of the fire-breathing rubber duckies as they hold on for the last minute of this engagement.
Yeah, really good engage there from the Koala Kings. They're really re-engaged there. They were able to get out of the spawn really quickly. Now they're going to be pushing in soon again.
It's very interesting to see how this is working out. Silk, almost up to that Death Blossom, is really going to have to be watching for Kemi to get out of that mech, or at least not be paying enough attention for them to make it work. They're looking to take this high ground advantage, and if they can, might even be able to see... Ooh.
There was a good wall there from Sergeant Pepper and a huge engage. The shatter comes out from Jeffbot, is able to get 3 at least on the ground. Kemi's able to finish everybody off with Baby Diva form, by the way. And now it looks like Koala Kings being able to hold themselves here. Requiem gets desuited again. She's just out having a good time on this Diva. And now only 15 seconds here for Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. Somebody has to touch within this time. And little to no ults on the field. They might not be able to take a tick.
Yeah, somebody has got to get on that point, and they got to make it quick. If they rely on Bombaclat to try to touch this objective, it might not be enough time, but Silk gets there in time.
Silk gets there, the Death Blossom is able to get right now. It's a huge shatter from Bombaclat. The bomb comes out, it gets gagged, and just like that, Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies in the span of 3 ults have turned this fight around. They're going to be able to get 1 tick at least, maybe 2 on this point. Sergeant Pepper is somewhere. He is 1 health, however, and now Bombaclat trying to get out and try to charge everybody off the point, and there it is. Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies will be able to cap point B. No time left in the bank, however.
Goodness gracious, I was waiting for Requiem, hopefully having her head on a swivel, because all it was going to take was Sergeant Pepper coming out with that blizzard, and that would have allowed them to take that point back. But they came in so fast, so fierce, they took everybody out at the same time, so you didn't have to worry about the staggers, and then it just absolutely beautiful. You got no time left on the clock, but you did put the line in the sand. So now you know the kind of defense that you have to be setting up right here. You got to try to hold out as long as you can on both points, which of course is the name of the game to begin with. But as long as you've at least secured that second point, you can give yourself a little extra time. If you can get them under a minute, you get that minute back on the clock so that you can attack again. Or at very least, you can draw out the map by making sure to run out the time here on Objective Alpha. Needless to say, looking at the compositions coming out right now, Wacky and Silk opting for the Soldier Junkrat. Not something we see a whole lot very often. I mean, Junkrat, obviously very good for tight spaces and can work out really well, but the Soldier, kind of an interesting pick there. But with Clover on that Mercy, going to provide a lot of power behind that. Navino opting to stay on that Symmetra, though, and they're going to look to teleport straight to point, hopefully not into a Junkrat.
Oh, and Stoke ends up dying early. That is going to be a huge pick here for Koala Kings. That is their opportunity to push another point right now. The high damage of Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies isn't there. The res comes out from Clover, and the wall is there from Sergeant Pepper to eliminate Bombaclat. And now Koala Kings in the advantage. 2 up for them. And now it looks like they're going to be taking point A very, very swiftly.
Oh, come on, Rubber Duckies. You knew exactly what they were coming from, what they were going to do. I mean, it's not news to us that that's what they were going to play. Now they've got 6 minutes on the clock, over 6 minutes on the clock to aggress into objective Bravo. I mean, you got a lot more in your favor this time around, which is great. You got the spawn advantage right there, but the ultimates are not helping you out right now.
Avoclad is the only person to drop onto the point right now, and he dies before the immortality field is able to come out. Now, it looks like that this is going to be a lost fight here for Firebreathing Rubber Duckies unless Wacky has anything to say about it. 2 kills for Wacky on that Soldier 76, and the tire comes out. Jeffbot charges straight into it and risks his life for it. And just like that, out of nowhere, the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies stabilize and hold on. 1 tick, however, taken for Koala Kings, so all they need is 2/3 of the point in order to take it.
Ooh, but still, at what cost right there? Had to use the tire to be able to prevent it, as well as investing the beat, which you're not going to have for a slew of ultimates that are getting ready to come online. Kemi's 30 away from the self-destruct. Sergeant Pepper's Blizzard has to get eaten here, otherwise it's going to zone out the objective, and they're not going to be able to touch.
Koala Kings teleport to the top of the point, and the App Matrix is used there from Gag. The drop down comes down from and Clover. The Blizzard is not eaten. Everybody on the team is ends up being taken, and Wacky pulls out the tactical visor, but it doesn't get any kills thus far, only on the Red Knight, but nobody is able to touch. And now the Koala Kings, 4 minutes and 42 seconds in the time bank to try and get 1 tick, 33% on Hanamura point A.
Yeah, that is absolutely unfortunate there. I don't know why Rubber Duckies weren't ready for that plan and aggression. You know, you saw it on the defense that they were using that Symmetra. It's just what Koala Kings do. That's what they've got practiced up. And again, this comes from research, you know, looking into your teams before you get ready to see them on the battlefield. And I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot, you know, just enjoy a match, you know, over dinner or something like that, just so that you got a little bit of that knowledge about how they play. You know, are they super aggressive? Are they super passive? What kind of compositions do they like to run? You know, all these things are key information in a competitive setting like this. Thankfully, it is still week 1. A lot of learning, a lot of growing, able to be done during this time. But right now, Rubber Duckies are on the back foot, and unfortunately, unless they can stop them right here, they're going to look really flat going into the second half.
You do see Firebreathing Rubber Duckies coming out on the exact comp they just ran, except Clover is switched over to the Lucio. More speed, more ability to try and get out, but no resurrection. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be able to do here. Here comes the attack from the Koala Kings. They're doing, once again, the Sim May, and they're teleporting now to the top right of the point. A different approach than what they had, and Navino ends up falling down along with Sergeant Pepper, and here they come, now for the engage. You do see now that Firebreathing Rubber Duckies are set up on this point. The wall comes out, but it's unable to get anything. Silk is there, trying to make sure that the team is able to be damaged up. And now Jeffbot charges off the edge. What was the plan there? He was able to get Clover at least, but regardless, now that's an immediate win here for the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, as now there are no deaths coming out on their side, only except that Lucio and that Junkrat, and just like that, Rubber Duckies hold.
Yeah, thankfully, I think it really came down to Jeffbot. I think they were trying to catch Bombaclad or Requiem, send him off the side, but you just took Clover, so you're not taking the main heals there. You're playing on the objective, so you're not going to lose a whole lot with Clover being out of the fight, but with your main tank who's pumping out damage and able to protect you, having that out of the fight is a completely different story. And now we're going to see Koala Kings use that teleporter to get on the high ground going left side. This time, see if they can make up.
They found Wacky. Wacky stuck in the back line, and Wacky ends up dying to Kemi. They were able to teleport straight onto him. What a huge play there. And the shatter! It's a 6-man shatter coming out from Bombaclat. Silk gets 3 with 1 single concussion mine. Oh my goodness, what a huge setup from the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies to eliminate all of the Koala Kings. 3 minutes left in their time bank.
Ding, 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 ding. Woo! Just ringing the bell right here on Hanamura. What an absolutely devastating setup. It was a great combination of ultimates and timing right there. 1 shatter to rule them all. But a lot of ultimates getting ready to come in. Let's see if the tire grabs somebody.
The Immortality Field came out and Gag ends up dying to the tire. A huge kill there from Silk. And now the Blizzard comes out from the side of Koala Kings, but no pressure is there. The fire-breathing rubber duckies are still holding. They're using a lot of ults at the same time, but those ults are coming back really fast. And now, fire-breathing rubber duckies, 2 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock here for Koala Kings. They could be able to hold this and bring it to a draw.
I gotta tell you right now, Bowsy, I think that Koala Kings, they're getting a little antsy, you know? You know when you're playing a game and you're feeling your rhythm and you're feeling really good and you just try being really cheeky after a little while. I think that's what we're seeing right here, and oh man.
The teleporter bait! We don't see those after that. That's a 3-man shatter with a huge shield from Bombaclad is able to protect away from Kevy's bomb. But now Koala Kings, they have objective on this point. There's the bomb from Requiem. She ends up getting hit, but Chefbot dies to Requiem's bomb. And now Koala Kings, they're once again on the disadvantage on the back foot as fire-breathing rubber duckies continue to push them forward. But that's big. Sergeant Pepper's able to get Silk. That's no more damage on the side of fire-breathing rubber duckies, but Red Knight dies at the hands of Bombaclad. The amplification matrix comes out from Gag, but Bombaclad is way past it. There's nobody there from the Koala Kings to be able to stop this. Bombaclad gets frozen, but wait, now it's winnable here for Koala Kings. It's a 2v2 situation, a Baby Diva and a Reinhardt versus support players Blell and Clover. Red Knight jumps back into the fight, and another barrier comes out from Nivito. That's the second one this fight. Silk comes back on the Junkrat, and here comes the Babagetta B-Wheel, but it's not going to be enough. 60 seconds on the clock, and it looks like Koala Kings is going to cap that first tick and will win Hanamura in an absolute bloodbath.
Woo-hoo-wee! That was a ride from start to finish, Bowsy. Just seeing the absolute aggression coming out from Jeffbot, that massive shatter, although it didn't grab the full value, it required a lot of investment. And look at this, Bombaclad, an absolute dominant force when it comes to the side. When it comes to the side of the fire-breathing rubber duckies, nevertheless, dominance does not spell victory, although you would think it does in the vernacular. Nevertheless, we will go ahead and see if they can continue this streak. Koala Kings now up 2-0 in our series. Remember, we always play out four maps, so we could still be going to a map 5 if after the half, the fire-breathing rubber duckies find a way to get themselves wet, slick, and right back into the action. Are you there, Bowsy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go.
I'm here. So, sorry, I was waiting for it to sort of break, but yes, absolutely. We'll be right back. We'll be right back after a halftime break to see if fire-breathing rubber duckies can come back from down 2 maps in the series.
used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, and so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. Used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. Used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it. It's so hard to get it. So hard to get it. I used to be the lost boy running insane. I used to be the ghost boy looking for fame. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it. I used to be the one living in the fast lane. I used to be the one who only cried in the rain. I used to work so hard to get it, so hard to get it.
Welcome back to the Overwatch Tranquility Season 7 Harmony Tier feature match between the Koala Kings and the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. And I don't know about you, Jack, it might just be this guy to my right, but regardless, it's been a heated match so far. The scoreline does not reflect how close this is. It is 2-0, however, in the favor of the Koala Kings.
Yeah, I will definitely give the heated matches the reason for all my sweat, vice the lack of circulation in my new office. But nevertheless, it's been interesting to see this work out. Like, we're seeing the returning champs, or some of the returning champs. You know, they're a rebuilt team based on some of the previous champs from last season. And you know, Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, although they haven't taken a win yet tonight, are proving to be a very formidable team thus far in this evening. You know, hopefully the break they took, maybe meeting with their coach and trying to figure out strategies and whatnot, might be able to turn things around here in the second half.
Absolutely, and we are heading into our third map. Again, loser's choice. Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies have brought us not to King's Row. For the first time, and I think forever, we're not going to King's Row. We're going to Eichenwalde.
What? Are you sure? I think you need to double check that. I don't think that that's accurate, because I'm pretty sure in the script of Overwatch Tranquility, it says it right here. If dost contain King's Row in the map pool, thou thus pick it.
Well, I'm sorry,
to
Captain
annoy
Jack.
casters. Sorry, I forgot that last part.
Well, I'm sorry. According to my script here that I happen to have in this notebook, here's a page that says King's Row must be a requirement. Not anymore. It is no longer a requirement in Tranquility. We're going to Eichenwalde for our next map, and we do have some subs coming in on both sides. On the Koala Kings, Navino is subbing out. Great. And Spongy Cheese is going to be coming in for his spot. And on the side of Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, Arya is subbing in for Clover. So once again, we do see that main support switching in again.
Yeah, we haven't been seeing a whole lot of difference between Clover and Arya. I did see a little bit more of the Ana play from Arya, so I think that that's going to be incredible, especially on a place like Eichenwalde, if they're looking to utilize the rush or the dive or double bubble. You know, those nanos, those anti-nades with a lot of high ground potential are going to be incredibly huge. A couple of things to let you all know before we get into this match. First off, make sure to hit that exclamation donate in the chat to support Rain with us. We are continuing to raise money as we support the Activision Blizzard employees that are going through the stuff that they're going through right now, and that's one of the organizations that they've requested that folks support, so please help us out with that. Also, hit that exclamation store in the chat. Today is the last day for 15% off your Overwatch Tranquility merch. You want a t-shirt, you want a sweater, you want a ball cap, people want stickers. All of that stuff you can get at shop.spreadshirt.com/OW Tranquility. If you want to know how to get the stickers, we covered it last night on the Iris podcast, but all you have to do is go into the customizer and select stickers, and then you can get all the logos that are currently on the website. You can get in the sticker form to stick all over your amazing stuff. So getting into the action right now, looking at the composition coming out for the Rubber Duckies, looks like they're opting for the dive and are going to go ahead and allow Arya to stay on that Ana. But Sergeant Pepper's here, and with a Skies comes a Far Mercy with Red Knight in tow.
And we do already see Silk switching into the spawn room, going on to that Echo. Okay, very interesting composition coming out here. It's a dive composition from the side of the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies on the attack. They do have the Ana Brig, which is going to have a lot of trouble against Sergeant Pepper unless Silk has anything to say about it. Now we are waiting for the engage here from the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. How do they take advantage of this?
Yeah, that's really the issue that they're going to have right here. Spongy Cheese has the range with that Peacekeeper, going to take Silk out of the fight to start things off. And the dive can try to close the distance, but this double shield is going to be really hard to fight through with that Pharah in the sky as we see the picks continuing to come in.
Yep, Bombaclat does die, and now Requiem shot out of her mech. Now it looks like Sergeant Pepper using an early barrage, getting both supports. And just like that, it looks like the Koala Kings are going to be able to defend here for the first minute and a half of their Eichenwalde defense. And just like that, Rubber Duckies are going back to the drawing board.
Yeah, definitely not the position that you want to be in if you're the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. And again, this is another thing that comes down to research, right? We talked about it earlier in the evening that Sgt. Pepper, deadly on the Sombra and deadly on that Farah, already had barrage within the first minute of the match, folks. You can't get any more deadly than that. And we're getting ready to see the other ultimates coming online as well for the Koala Kings as the dive comes in, the Ant Matrix to counter.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ant Matrix is, however, way too close, and Bombaclat just walks right past it and gets Spongy Cheese. Red Knight dies on the Mercy, and Pepper dies in the hands of Silk. Bombaclat on that Primal Raging Monkey, able to eliminate as much as he can at Jeffbot with a very questionable and late amplification matrix when they've already lost the fight. The Koala Kings in a very bad situation right now, and they're going to be losing this point to Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. A late rally coming out from Bewheel, and that's the point for the Rubber Duckies.
The aggression worked out in their favor, and that's something that you always have to opt out of when you're going against a Farah Mercy. Do you decide to focus the Farah Mercy, or do you decide to focus the soldiers on the ground? Because if you can take out the ground support, especially on something that's contestable like an objective, like the Farah Mercy have to get out of the sky and contest that objective. That's just the way it's got to go, or they got to pick everybody off. And, it worked out in their favor. There's picks coming in right now, but the cart is still moving its way forward.
Yeah, Fire-Breathing Rubber Duck is trying to take a small dive, and Sgt. Pepper uses the barrage on the Bewheel, and Bombaclat dies in the aftermath. Requiem once again demeched, and she will have to try and jump off the edge to try and get a mech reset. But that is a one fight here for Koala Kings. Only 47 meters here for the payload for the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies.
That's absolutely true, and honestly, I would love to see a cheeky bomb here from Requiem. We see the high ground kind of being taken advantage of. I want to see Bombaclat and the rest of the team start pushing that payload, force Kemi and Jeffbot to come to that low ground after the shields are spent, and Requiem just shoots it right over the top from spawn. That would be a beautiful combo. Also would probably grab the Farah Mercy in tow and provide a lot of space to get past this choke.
Arya ends up dying though to the deadeye of Spongy Cheese, and Wacky dies to Jeffbot. This is not looking good here for the side of the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies. Despite that, they have been able to take out the hit scan pick, and Silk is on a Farah, but that doesn't matter when Sgt. Pepper is on the Farah as well. And that was a mid-air punch from Bombaclat to eliminate Kemi and get rid of the Graphitic Flux. Now it's suddenly Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies have taken control of this fight and are pushing past the bridge.
Yeah, it's really just coming down to positioning right now. We see the Double Shield trying to aggress on picks that are coming in, but Double Shield isn't an aggressive composition. You don't really go in and clean things up. You bunker down, you set up, and you get ready for the fight to come to you. And they're missing that. And now they're missing the objective as it walks right on in to point two, adding a minute and a half to the clock.
Yep, the Winston of Bombaclat was able to keep all of the Koala Kings back, and just like that, the Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies are immediately destroying the Koala Kings. Almost a full hold from the Koala Kings, and it's all gone to waste. Now 3 minutes for Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies to take point C, and the Koala Kings are searching for answers.
All right, Wacky swapping over to that soldier is a great pick for sure. I'm really excited to see how this works out because Sgt. Pepper now doesn't have any room to move, and I don't think that's what Gag was going for there.
Nope, the Immortality Field, the Amplification Matrix not in a good position, and the barrage gets canceled. Bombaclat ends up dying in the hands of Spongy Cheese, but Wacky with a 2K on that soldier, one with the visor, and now Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies, they're pushing forward. Only 3 people alive on the Koala Kings, and Rubber Duckies look like they'll be able to finish this with a lot of time left in the bank.
All right, the ultimate's continuing to come online. Arya has that nano ready to invest and get in there, but the Deadeye does find Wacky.
It goes on the Silk. It goes on. The nano went onto Silk, who's in front of Kemi and Spongy Cheese, but Silk ends up dying in the hands of Cheese, And now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, they still have the advantage in this fight. Only less than 10 meters to try and get to that point as the bomb comes out from Requiem. It doesn't get anything, but Kemi is left on that point with Red Knight on that Lucio. It might look holdable here for the Koala Kings, but the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are not giving up. The rally is invested by a wheel, and now you can see the charge coming out from Jeffbot is able to get Bombaclat, but he ends up taking a nap right outside. The tire comes out from the side of the Koala Kings. It does not get any significant picks, and the Koala Kings are still faltering here. Bombaclat dives straight in. He tries to get gag on that Baptiste, but it's a huge peel, and now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, they're looking on the backside here. Oh, the shield bash eliminates the mech. Kemi not able to get back in the mech thanks to the shield bash from Bewheel. And now Koala Kings trying to hold this back. The shatter from Jeffbot is a huge whip. And Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are retreating now with Koala Kings being able to hold here. A minute left in the time bank for Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies to hold point C.
Honestly, it's rough, right? It's absolutely rough what they're doing here. The Deadeye's going to come out, try to zone out a little bit more. But nevertheless, they've done a really good job here. Even if they don't get it into Objective Charlie, they've pretty much pushed it as far as you can get it. They've got some ultimates coming online, though. A combination of Silk and Requiem using that Death Blossom to take down shields, use up the defense matrix, and then sending the bomb right in over the side might be exactly what they need. Maybe might even get some Beyblade action.
Here comes the tire from Sergeant Pepper to try and get an early engage, try to get an early pick, and try to ruin the battle here for the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. It misses Bombaclat. It tried to go straight forward, but a huge shield play from Bombaclat. And now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies starting to push forward. They have a Lucio now, and here comes the bomb from Requiem. No shatter coming in play. That's a big bomb from Requiem being able to get Spongy Cheese, and Bombaclat gets 2 off of it. No supports on the side of Koala Kings. Kemi is the last fatality now. Silk ends up dying to Sergeant Pepper, but regardless, Jeffbot is the last remaining force on this payload. Apart from Spongy Cheese and Red Knight running back, B-Wheel gets 2. And now, it looks like it might be all for naught here for Koala Kings. They might not be able to hold this unless Gag makes a miracle play on this Baptiste with Red Knight. The tack visor from Wacky on the high ground. It gets rid of Gag. It gets rid of Spongy Cheese. And Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies with that 3K from Wacky's tactical visor. Look like they're going to be taking the point as the huge shatter from Jeffbot, but another big shatter coming out from Bombaclat. It's still back and forth. Sergeant Pepper, he's bringing it back from the brink with a 3K. He doesn't able to get the tire off, but Requiem does get out of a mech, and now Sergeant Pepper carrying this fight. 5 kills for him, and just like that, Koala Kings hold.
Please, somebody get Sergeant Pepper's ibuprofen, because his back gotta be hurting right now. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire, great balls of explosives on that Junkrat coming back out in the staggered fight. Obviously couldn't have done that without Red Knight and Spongy Cheese coming out on the Tracer and the Lucio to be able to stagger it out, but it was just enough time for Sergeant Pepper to get back into the action, dole out that little extra bit of damage, and be able to get that tire into the fight. It didn't end up, I think it only ended up killing 1, but it took everybody else down so far that it was just a quick and simple cleanup right after that. And that was rough, right? There wasn't a lot that Koala Kings could do on the initial engage in that fight. There was no way that they were really going to be able to stop Bombaclat and the rest of the Rubber Ducks from being able to push in to the objective, but thankfully they set themselves up so well and so far away from the objective at that choke point going into Point Charlie that they were able to create that extra space, that extra time that they could then utilize to get back into the objective and make it work out for them. Now Silk opting onto this Sombra. That's going to be an absolute nuisance when it comes to Jeffbot and Kemi trying to get any sort of stuff done. More than likely, though, they may be focusing down Sergeant Pepper, who's coming out on the May. We're going to see a little bit of the Cowboy and the Winter Wizard.
The huge push coming in for Koala Kings. They're quick on the move, and Requiem ends up losing her mech in the aftermath. Arya also commits the Immortality Field, so that's 2 big abilities out of the picture. Spongy Cheese able to get Wacky down as Koala Kings starting to make an advance on this point, and they're looking really clean and solid here. They look like they'll be able to take the first point within the first minute of the attack.
Yeah, that just comes down once again to the aggression right there. Sergeant Pepper just has those walls on lock, has the positioning always in the pocket for the walls and the CC. Plus, you got Spongy Cheese with that flashbang, just able to stop anyone dead in their tracks if it doesn't get eaten. It's really going to come down to some zoning from Silk to make sure that they can try to isolate this as much as possible.
Speaking of isolate, the wall does come out, but it's not enough to save Jeff Butt, who ends up getting charged by Bombaclad, and Wacky, on the Tracer of all things, gets Sergeant Pepper on the May. Now, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are able to hold here at the gates, which is a huge holding point for any Brawl team right now. But the Amplification Matrix comes out from Gag. It's still winnable here for the Koala Kings as they continue pushing the cart. Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, they get out of the line of sight of said Matrix. Silk has the EMP though. He uses it right then and there. There's a 3-man coming out from Silk's EMP. Jeff Bot falls, but so does Bombaclad. No more Reinhardts on either side, as now you do see Koala Kings starting to make more of an advance here. They're pushing in with that beat from Red Knight. And now the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are sadly on the receiving end of a full course retreat. Requiem and Aria are stuck there, and the boot comes out from Red Knight against Requiem. It also sends B-Wheel down to the side, but Spongy Cheese gets the finish. A big E from Kemi as well to make sure that the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies will not be able to hold here. Koala Kings continue pushing.
It's going to be really rough for them to hold it right here. We're going to have to hope that B-Wheel has some boops in the pocket to at least send a couple folks over the side. As we see, a Requiem does have that self-destruct ready to go. Shatter Bomb could be a good combo here.
The Blizzard comes out from Sergeant Pepper though, and Bombaclad is stuck there. B-Wheel was also stuck, and Bombaclad and B-Wheel both die first. Requiem stuck on the point. She uses the bomb. Will be able to get any picks. It does get Red Knight, but that's all she's going to be able to do there. She ends up dying to the hands of Sergeant Pepper, and Koala Kings will take point 2. 5 minutes on the clock to try and finish this map.
5 minutes on the clock, and they don't even have to finish the map. Remember, that's still about 2 meters shy of the final objective. So it is going to be rough for them to be able to hold this line, because we're already seeing the Koala Kings aggressing in, and with that initial pick onto Silk, that is not going to be looking good.
The Shatter comes out, but it's a huge block from Jeff Butt, and he gets 2 with the Shatter. Jeff Butt, what a huge play, being able to get both supports, and B-Wheel dies to the bomb from Kemi. And the Koala Kings pushing forward on the final corner now. Requiem the Baby Diva trying to get it back, but she won't be able to. Koala Kings approaching the final 5 meters. It looks like they're going to be able to do it. Koala Kings, no, not yet. Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies are right out of the point. It's a 3-man EMP from Silk. A little bit too quick. Until they don't touch. Koala Kings will take the map and will go 3-0. They have taken the win in the series, but they still have one more map to play. We always play the 4th map.
That's absolutely true. We play it for map differential, and last season, if I remember correctly, was one of the first times that map differential made a huge difference as to who was eliminated and who was not. So Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, don't let down your guard. Don't let down the pressure just yet, because having that one singular map win not only really diminishes the Koala Kings' victory today, brings them down to, I think, a +2 when it comes to map differential with just one map loss. But on top of that, that gives you a map win that could possibly save your skins, or your feathers for that matter, a little bit later on down the line. So please be sure to be fighting these out. And I say that to all the teams of Tranquility. These final maps always matter. You gotta invest everything that you got to make sure that you can get it, because you never know when that could be your ticket to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Any map matters. If you can get that extra map, it could be huge. It could be your ticket to the playoffs, or it could be your ticket to loss, depending on if you win or lose it. We do see Koala, Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies choosing their 4th map now, escort map of Havana. Widowmaker Heaven, and they have some swaps coming in as well. Drug is coming in for Silk, and Clover is coming back in for Aria.
All right, this is going to be interesting to see how this works out. It looks like Koala Kings have kind of found their rhythm when it comes to the fights. It's about aggression. It's about focusing down one player and then just kind of spreading out, like putting a drop of water in a pool of oil, so to speak. You just drop it in the middle, and then it just kind of spreads out and pushes everything away, and then just takes over the space. So that's going to be the same thing here with Koala Kings. The Rubber Duckies, though, got to figure out a way to clap back at that. What kind of defense do they need to set up, or what kind of attack do they need to perform in order to prevent that aggression coming back at them, and also allow them the opportunity to get the picks that they are looking for? Based on what we've seen thus far, Drug seems to have a pretty big wheelhouse when it comes to the various off tanks. We saw a little bit in the Busan match of the Diva. We saw a little bit of the Sigma, so it's really going to be up to the Rubber Duckies to really kind of draw the line in the sand here and see if they can, at very least, take home one dub this evening.
So you also see a swap coming in for Koala King. Spongy Cheese is going to be subbed out, and Navino is coming in. Sergeant Pepper is staying in, which originally it was going to be Spongy Cheese and Navino. They've changed it. Sergeant Pepper and Navino is now going to be that starting lineup. We'll see if that changes before they get in. But I want to make it clear that, remember when we went to map 2 and I said that Drug was not going to be in, meaning that Firebream Rubber Duckies wasn't going to have their captain? Yeah. Now we have Drug coming back in. Does Firebream Rubber Duckies do better with their captain?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a question, but it also depends on team structure, right? Sometimes just being the captain of the team means you're taking more so the logistical standpoint of the team, being the contact, handling the rosters, things like that, where their shot caller may have been in the game the entire time. And one would hope that they wouldn't be trading out their shot caller in the middle of a match, because that definitely is not the place that you want to be in. So I'm hoping, though, with Drug back in the fight, maybe be able at very least to provide a little bit of that PMA, get back into the fight, back into the action, and really kind of give the last heave-ho to the Koala Kings and turn this sucker around. But, I mean, we've said it before, folks. Sergeant Pepper, at least as of right now, is still on the field. So as long as Sergeant Pepper is coming into the action, they're going to be dealing with either the May, the Sombra, or the Farah, which so far, all three have been deadly against the Rubber Duckies.
Absolutely. Sergeant Pepper really has come out as a huge candidate for a potential MVP these past few matches, whether it be the preseason or this first match. He's been an absolute standout performer on the Koala Kings, and I would not be surprised if he started being in the MVP conversation. I know it's the first week. Don't flame me up for that. Trust me, you can flame the podcasters for that. But regardless,
they started yesterday.
They started yesterday, every Monday at 8:30 p.m. But regardless, this is a huge opportunity here for the Koala Kings. If they're able to make use of Sergeant Pepper, make every single bit of his tool, they might be able to go to the playoffs and maybe even make the championship again. But on the other side, Firebream Rubber Duckies, your goal should probably be to shut down the most impactful player. If you can shut down Sergeant Pepper... If you can shut down Sergeant Pepper, you might be in a victory standpoint. You might be able to get that map win here today. We'll have to see what their plan is here on Havana, as we're still waiting here. Some of the Koala Kings are not ready yet, but once they are ready, we'll be jumping into the fourth map. Again, Havana is the choice.
That's true. And speaking of jumping in and providing some support, we are asking you all to provide some support to RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They are the largest anti-sexual violence organization, and any donation that goes to RAIN will be used to help out survivors, educate the public, and improve public policy concerning these things. So please consider hitting that exclamation donate in the chat. Gives you the link. I'm not for certain where we're standing at just yet. I'll be bringing that up here in a minute for me to check out and get back to you about where we're sitting. Last I knew, we were about halfway to our $1,000 goal. And, this is on top of what we typically do for event week in our support of mental health awareness as well. So we try to do everything that we can as a community, but we can't do it without your help. So once again, hit that exclamation donate in the chat, and whatever you got, pennies in your pocket, we'll take it all. That way we can make sure that some of these folks have the supports that they need to be able to fight back against these injustices. You can also hit that exclamation store in the chat, because as always at the beginning of every season, we have the Tranquility merch sale brought to you by the Tranquility Hammer NPC. 15% off of everything in the Tranquility store over at shop.spreadshirt.com/OW Tranquility. You can get shirts and mugs and backpacks and hats and sweaters and even stickers using the customized tool there on Spreadshirt. So once again, hit exclamation store, go to shop.spreadshirt.com/OW Tranquility. I'm trying to stall for as long as I can here, Bowsy, but I think we're finally ready to go. I'm already, so we might as well head on down south to Havana.
Absolutely, we're starting to get into the map now. Havana, the fourth map and the final map of the series. No matter which way it goes, if it's a 4-0 for Koala Kings or a 3-1 for Koala Kings, they have won this series, but we're playing for map points. Maps mean everything. They have always meant everything here in Overwatch Tranquility, and there is no time like the present to be able to get those early map wins, so you can make sure you aren't the sitting duck outside of the playoffs. No pun intended.
That's good. That's good, Bowsy. I'm glad that I'm rubbing off on you as a play-by-play caster to get you those dad jokes going, man. And as we were seeing in Contenders Trials, thanks, Smith, for a little bit of that pigeon action right there. We appreciate that. Sorry, I forgot I'm watching Bowsy's cam this time around, but maybe Myth will get you some pigeon action too. We love seeing that as well. So going into Havana, we're already starting out on a Widowmaker's bowling alley. This long straightaway is incredibly deadly for utilizing the Widowmaker, and it looks like that's what Wacky is playing around with, but I don't think they're ready for what the Koala Kings are pulling out. We saw this in Season 6. They're looking to get brawly. They're going to be in your face, and they're looking to lock down every exit of these spawn doors.
And here come the Koala Kings, going through the main door, but nobody is there to greet them. The doorbell, it was not working, and they played Ding Dong Ditch out there from the Palm Beach Poggers, or not the Palm Beach Poggers, excuse me, the fire-breathing rubber duckies. I'm tired. As you can see, the fire-breathing rubber ducky is able to respond very well, but B-Wheel ends up dying to the hands of Jetbot, and Jetbot is swinging his hammer right in their faces. However, 2 picks taken. Bombaclat and Wacky are able to get 2 players on the side of the Koala Kings. Regardless, it's not going to be enough. The Koala Kings will be able to win the fight.
They win the fight, but they don't win the war. I mean, they're not going to have the numbers advantage going into this next fight. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the Koala Kings are still deciding to hold on here. And honestly, it's to the Rubber Ducks' disadvantage that they didn't take advantage of the whole team not being there. They're now fully regrouped, ready to get back into the action, and the Ant Matrix is going to open it up.
Jetbot trying to swing into the front line, and Requiem loses her mech. Wacky's able to get the pick onto Navito, though, but not before Jetbot gets 2. B-Wheel and Requiem die at the hands of Jetbot's hammer, and once again, the Rubber Duckies are retreating back to spawn.
Red Knight, what a bully. You just see Red Knight wall riding all around that little area, booping drug into the sky, not going to be allowing any shenanigans from that Shimada brother. And they've already run 1.5 minutes off the clock. Even if they don't end up holding for the full 4 minutes, at very least, space. And wow!
There was a 3K shatter from Jetbot, but at the same time, Drug was trying to put out the Dragon Strike, and it got canceled by Kemi. What a huge play there from the Koala Kings. They do lose the Blizzard, however. That's a big ult that they're not going to be able to get back. And now, it's looking desperate here for the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. Bombaclat has switched over to the Reinhardt. Drug has switched over to the May. They're trying to mirror this, brawl here, but Clover has the Nano Boost. So now they're going to have to try and change something up as the wall comes out from Sergeant Pepper, but it's able to be saved there. Bombaclat ends up dying to the hands of Navino. And now it's once again a retreat here for the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. They don't have a lot of time, a minute and a half on the clock, and they have not even pushed this payload more than 5 meters.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot that they can do at that standpoint, right? Now the self-destruct's going to go back for Kemi.
And that's the 3K! A 3K bomb from Kemi gets both supports and the Rhine, a Bombaclat. And once again, Koala Kings are still holding on a minute in the clock for the attackers of the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. They still are holding on to that nano boost for dear life. There is little to no time here for them to try and get any sort of progress, but the Reaper is out now.
Well, I don't even think it's that they're holding it on purpose, right? They're just waiting to be able to utilize it at the right time, but everybody's getting taken out so quickly, and there it is, Bombaclat caught out again!
He was able to get saved over. There's a massive shatter coming out from Chefbot. It gets 5 on the ground. The shatter, he ends up getting slipped at the end of that though, but it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. Now the Koala King still holding on. 30 seconds in the time bank here for the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. They still have not left this spawn for the past 2 minutes, Captain Jack.
There's just nothing that they can do right now. This is final fight territory. 3.89 meters. Rubber Duckies, do not let it end like this.
The Ant Matrix comes out, but there's no follow-up there. Everybody on the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies is dead except 2. Wacky on the Reaper and Requiem on the Diva. Been able to push it 3 more meters, but that looks like it's going to be all there is to it. Jeffbot's shield is able to block the bomb, and 6 meters have been made for the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, but that's all they're going to be able to do. They ran out of gas at the gas station and did not put the pump in the truck.
Yeah, definitely some kind of leak in the system here, you know, deflated, somebody drained the tub a little too early. I'm not exactly for certain what happened to the Rubber Duckies right there, but nevertheless, it is unfortunate. You don't see this very often. Usually 2, maybe 3 minutes held in spawn, and then you're able to get that payload moving to at very least around the corner, but 6.75 meters is all they were able to get. This defense has to be perfect. And I hate to say it, but based on what we have seen so far from the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, the Koala Kings have stifled the squeaker. They have shut down the flames. And I'm not for certain there's much that the Rubber Duckies can do, but just hold out hope that maybe, just maybe, all the stars are aligning in their favor and they can actually hold this the entire time.
I will be absolutely surprised if the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies are able to full hold this. But the Koala Kings know. They know that this full hold is going to come out now because the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies exposed it too early. Let's see what their response is. Let's see. They most likely have prepared for this. Okay, they're going to be going for that long route. They're going on that left side all together as a unit, sticking together here while they meet the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies right at the payload. The wall comes out, and Bombclat is once again walled off. That's like the 16th time this map, and DeVito gets the final pick. Bombaclat dies, and now it's free reign here for the Koala Kings. All they needed was 1 pick, and they got 1 pick exactly. Just like that, they are destroying the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, and that looks like it's going to be it. Only 6 meters left for them to push, and just like that, they pulled the plug on the tub. The Duckies are sent swirling, and the Koala Kings get a 4-0.
Oh, man. I'm really ducked out here, Bowsy. That's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. Maybe the Rubber Duckies just gave everything they had in the first 3 maps, and they just didn't have enough for the ending right here. Kemi with that 3K bomb, walling off the rest of the team to be able to solidify that pick, ended up working out very well in their favor. Koala Kings starting off the season with a beautiful 4-0 victory, putting them 1-0 in stage 1 and showing the rest of the teams that they're about to face that they are still the same well-oiled champions that we know from season 6.
it might be different faces, but you still have the Koala Kings showing that they are willing to be as dominant as possible and are gutting for that second championship in a row. So a great performance from the Koala Kings. But you look on the other side of the field, the Fire Green Rubber Duckies, they did really well considering they were going up against the former champs. We showed a lot of points in maps 1 and 2 where they could have turned the fight at any point and would have been able to take a map off of the reigning champions. So, bravo to the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. This might be one of the hardest matches that they had to go through this first stage, but regardless, it's still a long stage. They got 4 more matches. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is just the beginning of the season, folks. There's nothing to really be worried about. Sure, you started off on the wrong foot, but it's just so much more forgiving in this tournament, especially now that we have the extra weeks added to the tournament. You're able to make a couple little more mistakes, but now you know where the bar is, where you got to get to compete with that top tier of the Harmony tier. I mean, and we got to start talking about players of the match here. So go ahead, start blowing it up in the chat, letting us know who you all are looking for your player of the match tonight. Bowsy, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Well, I'm actually going to give 2 player of the matches, and I'm going to give it to the tank line of the Koala Kings. Jeffbot and Kemi were absolutely perfect in their synergy, in their cooperation. Most of the shatter bomb combos that they were pulling off were very well succeeded. Really good job from the tank line of Koala Kings, being able to push that aggression that we saw from them all match, and being able to take the victory here. I'm giving it to the tank line of the Koala Kings.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to have to give an honorable mention to Sergeant Pepper because we can't not talk about Sergeant Pepper, folks. I mean, just an absolute dominant force anytime they step on the field, and the support line of the Koala Kings always putting their lives at risk to make sure that Sergeant Pepper is always popping off, and really was what carried them to victory. But I'm actually going to give my player of the match over to Requiem on the side of the fire-breathing rubber duckies. I think her diva play was incredibly profound. The way that she was able to constantly be creating space, and every time they ended up losing their Reinhardt was able, in some moments, either to pull off an incredibly big play or at least able to keep the team alive for their main tank to get back in the fight. So Requiem, you're going to be playing my tune tonight as I give you the player of the match. I'm sorry, new setup, I'm getting used to it, and dad jokes are all I know, man. They're all I know.
Whatever you say, but regardless, it obviously was a quick match today, but if you're looking for more Overwatch Tranquility content, stay tuned right after this broadcast, as we're going to be bringing you the debut streaming of Coach's Corner with Juggle God. He'll be talking with the former Dallas Fuel coach, Tickety, and also other coaches within the Overwatch Tranquility community, bringing you a analysis of a sort of Tranquility community, helping you out in your ranked games, in your comp games, and whatever you want to use them for. So make sure you check that out later. Of course, it is sponsored by Pico. I don't know the acronym for it, but regardless, hope you guys can check that out later. This has been an amazing match, Captain Jack, and I've had a very great honor casting with you. And we've also had, of course, behind the scenes, Myth has been an amazing observer for this match. Thank you, Myth, for agreeing to produce us.
Yes, thank you so much, Myth. And Bowsy, it was great working with you this evening as well. Remember, folks, still 15% off at the Spreadshirt store going on right now. Alliteration's not on my tongue tonight. So hit exclamation store in the chat to be able to utilize that, and be sure to hit exclamation donate as well. Just like Bowsy said, don't be going anywhere. Coach's Corner is going to be looking at one of the matches from the preseason. Tickety and Juggle God are going to be breaking down the information to really give you that inside aspect of the coach's mind to see what teams could have been doing to better perform, and it might help you in your future matches. From all of us here in the Tranquility community, that's Bowsy and Myth, and my name's Captain Jack, and we'll see y'all next time.
Is your head spinning? Is your heart racing? Is there fire in your veins? Are your bones burning? Is your skin yearning? 'Cause you're driving me insane. I kinda feel like I saw the light. You got me way up 1,000 miles. Can we stay right here in this atmosphere like we're flying out in space? Don't look down. Up this high, we'll never hit the ground. Don't look down. See the sky, we're gonna reach it now. Don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look down. Up this high, we'll never hit the ground. Don't look down. See the sky, we're gonna reach it now. Are your hands shaking? Are your fists breaking? Are you climbing over walls? Are the times changing? Is the noise fading? 'Cause I wanna get it all. Don't look down. Don't look down. Up this high, we'll never hit the ground. Don't look down. See the sky, we're gonna reach it now. Don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look down.
Help me with the words to say, 'cause I can't hide how I'm feeling. I can't describe, so challenging.